the day has come. We've talked about this day for years, actually. This comes with like a whole heap of emotions. The pill that I'm about to take could potentially change the trajectory of my health.
So you gotta breathe, 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 breathe. Let it go and let it be.
Good morning. The day has come. We've talked about this day for years, actually. I was supposed to be in a clinical trial about 7 years ago. And the day before the clinical trial started, I got a call from the research team and they said, it turns out you are not eligible to be in the trial because you have liver disease. And that was the first time that we learned that I would be excluded from most medication trials because of my liver. That was the very first, I think it was phase 1 of the trial for the medication I'm starting today. This comes with like a whole heap of emotions because this is kind of potentially groundbreaking, and it's crazy to think that the pill that I'm about to take, start taking and continue potentially taking for the rest of my life, the pill that I'm about to take could potentially change the trajectory of my health. Like any medication, it's not going to work for everybody, and we go into this knowing that very well. Like we are well aware that this may or may not work for my body, but we go into it giving it the best try we possibly can. My team has been fighting for what I thought it was called compassionate use, and I think it used to be called compassionate use. They've changed the wording to expanded access. Expanded access. You're crying too?
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
No, it's a big moment. I mean, we've hoped for this day, and we hold it with an open palm of whatever this medication is able to do or not do for Mary's body. Like, we're trusting the Lord with that. But yeah. I mean, in all of the last couple of months, we literally just arrived back in town from Maryland after coming from North Carolina to close on our house after a crazy whirlwind of Mary getting evaluated for liver and lung transplant a couple months ago. And in the midst of all of that, you guys have heard us talking about, like, our hope is that this drug that will be coming out, our hope that she can go on that, and that it will prolong the need for transplant, or like delay it. And so here we are.
So, like I said, my team's been extremely diligently fighting, and we really appreciate their fight in this, right alongside me for so many years, and continues the fight of CF, but in that was the fight for access to the expanded access program, which is basically the time between when the clinical trial ends. So the last clinical trial, like, okay, it's right before it goes into the hands of patients, like on the market. That clinical trial ends and it's in the hands of the FDA before it's approved by the FDA. That time period is when the expanded access program is open. And there are different qualifications, one of which actually is my liver issues. And thankfully it is, the decision about the liver issues is left into the hands of the physician. And so my physician took all of my liver things into consideration and said, yes, with even knowing these complications, it is worth a try. And that's exactly, you know, with any medication, you don't know until you try. And so with cautions and close monitoring, here we go. We're starting this medication. My hope is that as many people as possible can benefit from this medication. It is hard to know that there's this medication out. You know, before I was approved, we were like, oh my gosh, like there's a medication that could potentially change my health future, and there was nothing we could do except wait to see if I was approved, or wait till it was, you know, once it was in the trials, we had to wait till the trial was over, and then you wait for approval, and now, you know, all of the things. So if you are waiting, I really, really hope you get news from your team soon. We're all in this together. Let's go do this. There is a possibility of side effects. There is a possibility of complications. There's always going to be. This is not a cure. This is treating an underlying issue of CF. This is not a Band-Aid. The treatments up until this point have all been Band-Aids. Put a Band-Aid on the infection. Put a Band-Aid on the whatever. This is a medication, it's called a modulator.
CFTR modulator.
CFTR modulator. So it actually goes in at that issue with our cells and helps to correct that issue. So that's why there's so much hoopla around this, is because it's actually doing something. It's actually helping the root cause. Like Peter said, we hold this very much in an open palm, knowing that we can't control how this is gonna work. It's gonna do what it's gonna do or not do. And I think my biggest fear at this point is the side effects. With each round of these new medications, the side effects differ. And word on the street is that the side effects are not tremendously bad with this generation of this medication, but only time will tell. So if there are bad side effects, I am praying for strength and peace and courage to get through them. I've gotten through 100% of my bad days so far, so I'm gonna keep going, and we're just gonna take it one day at a time, I guess one dose at a time, and then monitor closely as my team decides. So here we go.
Okay guys, we made it here to CF Clinic. We're in a research room because the expanded access is technically experimental because it's not approved by the FDA, like Mary was talking about. So there's a lot of like consent paperwork, and like just that we walked through a lot of it. And so we've been here for a little over an hour now, and they just took blood work, kind of just to establish a baseline for Mary's blood work. And
we've been here for an hour and a half.
Hour and a half. Time flies. But Mary, I just ran downstairs to get some pizza because Mary's going to take the first dose of this drug here pretty soon. But part of this drug is that you have to take it with a high-fat meal or high-fat food, and because it has to be absorbed with fats in the body, and not exactly sure how that works. But anyway, so she's eating some pizza. Get ready to take pepper flake. Get ready to take the first dose.
I keep going between this like, okay, like this could be a hard transition on this medication. Between that and then like 2 seconds later, I sit here with like the biggest smile on my face because I'm like, this could be amazing. So we won't know until we try. And we are, of course, because it's still an experimental treatment, we don't know. Okay, I don't know what I'm saying. I'm saying we're kind of gonna take it slow at first. My team wants me to do, it's 2 pills in the morning, 1 at night. And for the first 3 days, I'm gonna do 1 pill in the morning, 1 at night. And then on Monday, we'll start with the full dose, 2 in the morning, 1 at night. We're going to be monitoring my liver enzymes closer. It's not like the pill enzymes that I take. It's different than that. It's a blood test. We're gonna be monitoring those a little bit closer than the protocol is. But he said that for a lot of people within 72 hours, they actually start feeling better, like an improvement. Like, what? I can't even. So,
Let's do this.
what in the world? Am I gonna feel better?
It's a possibility. And it's crazy.
Okay, here it goes. I don't even know how to feel. I mean, I don't feel anything. I just took the pill.
Do you feel better?
I've watched videos of people taking their first dose of a Vertex medicine, not this one, but previous generations of it. And, you know, it's like that surreal moment of like, this could really do something. And, you know, of course, there's a million unknowns. The potential harm it could do, side effects, that sort of thing. But there's that hope of this could really, really help. And of course, there's all of the clinical trial data showing how much it has helped some people. And the population of patients that they studied it on is a healthier CF population because they need the patient to be stable enough to test this medication. So I know that they're healthier than me, but and we definitely like keep that in mind. But it's that weird balance of like, we really do hope that this helps, but we also really do acknowledge that it may or may not. And it is such a weird mental place to be. And I think I've talked about that before. Like, I feel like we're at this interesting spot in the road where it's like the two very real possibilities of, if I were to like catch the flu right now, my body would potentially go downhill really fast and potentially need a transplant soon. Or the other very real possibility is that I stay exactly where I'm at and I'm just, you know, keep fighting this fight kind of where I'm at. Or another real possibility is that this medication that I just took, that pill, improves my health significantly. I guess it could either stabilize me, like where I'm at, which, man, this is an exhausting journey, like right here where I'm at. I mean, I go to bed exhausted from all of the work of like clearing my airways, knowing that the moment my eyeballs open, it starts all over again. It's exhausting. But even if it just stopped the decline, like that in itself would be good.
And just to like zoom out as to what the medication, I know Mary talked a little bit about how it affects the cellular level, but like some of the things that could be seen is like reducing the amount of mucus, allowing Mary's lungs to potentially be clearer, But
which in that there'd be less mucus, which means there would be less spot for bacteria.
yeah, but I guess I was gonna say with that, like, she still is gonna have the bacteria that she has, and so it's basically like one of the biggest things they've seen in the trials is it increases the time between needing IVs. So if we could see that in Mary's case, that would be like a huge benefit of this drug.
Yeah.
But it's not going to take away the infection.
True.
You know, so they're like, just to like have like a realistic idea of what this medication is doing.
And things that won't change. I still have this immunodeficiency situation where I'm still going to be on IVIG every 3 weeks. I'm still going to be taking all of my medications, my liver medications, enzymes, although because this is treating at a cellular level, things like absorption, so how your pancreas helps to absorb your nutrients in your food, that could potentially improve. So for now, I keep taking my enzymes with everything I eat. In time, we will see if I can decrease that, but that's not even on the radar right now. Right now is just starting the medication, but I think what you said was a really good point about like, what do we actually hope? Okay, let me take a minute. Here's my hope. Are you laughing at me?
I love it when you are talking and are taken back to start at a different place.
Here's what I'd love. In the last, like, this isn't the part I love. I'm gonna recap some of the symptoms that I would love to see improvement on. The last, like, 6 months or so, through the night, I've been having a lot more, like, being up coughing, and like the other day or 2 nights ago at 3 a.m. I was just up coughing so much. He was doing chest PT to help me breathe better, and like so much mucus in the middle of the night. That's different than it used to be. I used to sleep great, and then every morning, of course, even if I'm up through the night coughing, I wake up coughing, gagging, throwing up, filling, you know, doing my job of filling up my little Disney cups with mucus, doing chest PT, or the vest, and then, okay, so my hope is, I'd love to like have less coughing to the point of throwing up. That'd be awesome. I would love to not be like coughing through the night and all that dark mucus, like, if those sorts of things could improve, like, I know I'm still gonna cough. I still have a lung disease. I know, like you just said, you're still gonna have the same bacteria, but hopefully they won't be like running the show as much.
Yeah.
That would be amazing. I just finished a month of IV antibiotics, and we just did PFTs, and my PFTs are lower than they were when we started, and they've continued to be lower. Like, they're the same that they were 12 days ago or whatever it was. So IVs just aren't, these antibiotics aren't treating these resistant, super smart bacteria. And so if this medication could make it so that I don't need those antibiotics as much, that'd be amazing. That would mean less of the like blood count issues, all of that.
Yeah.
But you guys know numbers don't matter a whole lot to us. It would be really amazing and like shocking if we see my numbers come up, my lung function numbers, but really functionality is something, that's what we're more interested in.
Yeah. I'm hoping that maybe it could make mornings more tolerable and less exhausting.
Yeah, and like that's what I was gonna say, like using less of my energy on clearing my airways or just like coughing. Mm-hmm. If we could lessen some of the coughing. Now, one of the things that we do know is, my doctor said, this changes the, what was it? Like
chemistry of the body.
Yeah, because it is changing like the cell, or what is it? I don't know.
Like basically cellular functions.
Right.
Yeah.
So we know that, and he said, you know, a lot of people feel a lot more congested for the first days, weeks. It of course varies. More congestion, more sinus congestion. That's because the cellular like makeup, it's changing. The chemistry of your body is changing. But then within a short amount of time, you feel better.
Yeah.
So.
And one of the things is, like, one of the ways that they or pretty much the way they diagnose cystic fibrosis is a sweat test, and they measure the sodium chloride on the skin, because it's like, that's the cellular root level is kind of that sodium chloride exchange in the cells. And so one of the things that is measurable on this drug is that sweat test gets better, right?
Yep.
Which is
In
crazy.
some people, now I don't know about this specific drug, but I think earlier other medications, Vertex medications, the CF patient, when they've done a sweat test while they've been on the medication, it almost appears normal.
Oh, yeah,
as if,
like, not cystic fibrosis.
right.
Crazy.
So that just shows you like at a chemical level, this is like changing. So I guess my realistic hopes, like I said, I'd love to not cough as much through the night, and I'd love if my mornings could be a little bit better. I'd love a little bit less mucus. I understand there's still gonna be mucus in my life. I understand that I'm still gonna cough, but those things, if those could lessen, and oh, I just thought of something else, but I forgot.
Memory coming back? Just kidding.
Yeah. Oh, even if it's just like a couple of percent, maybe I'm not gonna be one of those people that has like that huge jump in lung function. Maybe that won't be me, or maybe it will be. Sign me up! But just like functionality would be so amazing.
Yeah.
So wonderful. A little bit more, as if we have a vote.
I know. We'll take these benefits.
A little more predictability. That would be amazing. Like,
Yeah.
if I know that after I take care of my lungs, they will feel better. Because that's the weird thing. I do IVs, I do my vest, I do all the things to care for my lungs, but it's unpredictable whether I'm gonna feel better or if I'm gonna feel worse. Less fevers would be awesome. Okay. I really don't know, guys. I mean, we don't have a whole lot. We don't have the answers. We don't know what's gonna happen, but we are going to document it because I mean, this is what we do, and there's going to be things that we can't share, you know, with things in experimental treatments and that sort of thing. There are going to be certain things we can and cannot share. There are going to be things we want to share and other things we want to keep private. You guys know we don't share my lung function numbers. We find that it's not helpful to, we don't want to cause comparisons and that sort of thing, but we of course keep you updated if they go up or go down or whatever.
But we really just want to document this journey and document everyday life and hopefully see improvement here on these vlogs. I mean, obviously I think recognize that these vlogs are a little glimpse into our day, so
Yeah.
I'd encourage you not to like look at these vlogs and be like, look, it's working, or
Yeah.
look, it's not working.
Right.
That's not how this works. But we do want to show you guys our processing of the journey and
Yeah.
invite you to come along on it. But
So nothing's gonna change, and if it does, we'll keep you updated. But the rest of our day is we need to stay in clinic for another hour to make sure that I don't have any like crazy reactions.
like grow like an extra arm or anything.
And then we'll be driving back home. Whew. For some people, buying a house is like one of the biggest things that happens in their life.
I think this is bigger.
I think so too. We bought a house on Monday, and on Friday I started what could potentially be a life-changing medication. And we kind of just want to take each day for what it is. And so Monday we celebrated, and then I had some really hard days health-wise, and we tried to keep celebrating, but we also acknowledged like, oh, I feel like poop. Okay, I can't do anything about that. And then today we drove here, and it's gonna be what it's gonna be, and we have no control over the outcome. So we are gonna do it together. We are going to try to do it joyfully, and there are gonna be some tears, but
thanks for coming on the journey with us.
I really do feel like it's like little things, like as I just breathed in, I heard like all those crackles, and I'm like, is that gonna get better?
We don't know, but one step, one dose at a time.
One dose down.
Yep.
All right, as always, we'll see you tomorrow.
See you tomorrow, guys.
Good night.
Good night.
Good night.
Good night, Ollie boy.